God is saying this person is still tied to your destiny, and before you dismiss this or let doubt take over, pause for a moment and really take it in. You did not arrive here by accident. Out of everything you could be doing right now, you are here, reading these words, thinking about that one person, music, who still stays in your heart in a way you cannot fully explain. That is not random. There is something deeper behind it. The connection music you keep feeling is not just memory fading in and out, and it is not something your mind is simply inventing. There is a reason their presence still shows up in your thoughts when everything becomes quiet. There is a reason their name still rises inside you even when you try to move forward. And what you are hearing right now may shift the way you understand this entire story. God is saying this person is still written somewhere in the unfolding of your future. If these words are finding you right now, don't rush past them. Let them settle first. Your mind may try to question it, but something deeper in you already knows why you are here. This is not coincidence. You were gently guided into this moment for a reason, music. God is fully aware of how tired you have become. He sees the emotional weight you've been carrying, the confusion, the looping thoughts, the feeling of going in circles trying to understand why this connection still hasn't fully left your system. You have tried to move on. You have tried to redirect your focus. You have tried to convince yourself that it's finished, that it no longer matters, that it should not still affect you. You have pushed it down, distracted yourself, stayed busy, tried to reason with your own heart, music. And still, it returns. Still, they come back into your thoughts when everything is silent. God is saying there is meaning in that. Before going further, this is soul archetypes. If this message is speaking to something inside you, stay present with it, music, because sometimes a single moment of awareness can completely change how you see your path and bring clarity to what has felt emotionally confusing for a long time. You have asked yourself many times, why does this person still stay in my heart? Why do they appear in my thoughts when I finally feel calm? Why do they show up in dreams when I thought I had healed? Why does my body react, tightening or softening, just at the mention of their name even after all that has happened? Music. God is saying, destiny does not stop being destiny just because timing was off. Something not working out in one season does not automatically erase its meaning. Some connections are not meant to be simple. Some souls do not meet just to immediately build a perfect, easy path together, music. Some relationships arrive to activate something within you first. They wake you up. They expose what is unhealed. They bring forward emotions and patterns you could not see clearly before. Growth often has to happen before connection can become stable. Healing often has to take place before two people can truly meet each other in a healthy way, music. This person did not enter your life by mistake, and you were not wrong for feeling what you felt. God is saying this connection had purpose in your becoming. What you experienced as confusion, distance, or emotional pain was not a measure of your worth. It was not proof that you were not enough. Those feelings were real, and they were heavy, and they were seen, music. You felt overlooked. You felt replaced. You felt like something was taken away from you without understanding why. But none of that separation was meant to break your value. It was meant to shape your direction. Sometimes two people are aligned in essence, but not aligned in their emotional readiness when they first meet. One person may still be carrying old wounds. One may not yet understand intimacy, vulnerability, or consistency. And sometimes both are still learning how to love without fear, without control, without emotional defense mechanisms, music. God is saying destiny is not always instant union. Destiny can include distance. It can include silence. It can include seasons where nothing makes sense outwardly, but everything is shifting inwardly. Music. Even while you were apart, change was still happening. You were developing awareness. You were learning boundaries. You were starting to understand what emotional safety actually feels like instead of confusion disguised as love. You were beginning to recognize your own value beyond attachment, music. And on their side too, even if you cannot see it, something is not static. Something is shifting within them as well. God is intentional with connections. When someone leaves a deep imprint on your soul, It is never without meaning. But not every meaningful connection is meant to stay in its original form. Some are only meant to pass through a transformation stage in your life. This does not mean you should chase it. It does not mean you should force outcomes or try to reopen what is not ready. What is meant for you does not require desperation. It does not require you to lose yourself to keep it alive, music. But it also does not mean the story is finished just because there was separation. Sometimes distance is protection. Sometimes silence is space for emotional growth. Sometimes loss is actually redirection toward a stronger foundation. You may not understand the full picture yet, and that is okay. Not everything is meant to be understood in the moment it is happening. God is asking you to trust that breaking does not always mean ending. Sometimes what breaks is what needed to be rebuilt in a better form, music. This connection is still linked to your path, but not necessarily in the same shape it once had. The older version of it, the version filled with confusion, fear, emotional instability, or misunderstanding, may not return. But that does not mean something more mature, more grounded, and more aligned cannot emerge in the right timing. Right now, your focus is not control. Your focus is becoming. Keep building yourself. Keep healing what still feels unsteady inside you. Learn to stand in your own emotional strength without needing external validation to feel whole, music. If this connection is truly aligned with your destiny, timing will handle what effort cannot. You will not need to chase. You will not need to convince. You will not need to reduce yourself to be chosen. When alignment is real, clarity replaces confusion. Peace replaces anxiety. And what once felt uncertain begins to feel simple, music. And if the path shifts in another direction, even then, nothing was wasted. Every emotion, every lesson, every moment you thought was too painful had purpose in shaping who you are becoming. Instead of asking why they still appear in your thoughts, start asking what this connection is revealing inside you. Instead of labeling it as a mistake, consider that it may be part of a larger design you are still unfolding into, music. God is not finished with your story. What is meant for you will arrive in the right form at the right time when both sides are ready to meet without old wounds controlling the connection. In this story, there was emotional weight on both sides. One person carried pain that had never been fully processed, hidden under silence, pride, or survival patterns. The other loved deeply but struggled with consistency when real emotional depth was required, music. God is saying the separation was allowed not to punish you, but to protect what could not survive in that condition. If both of you had stayed without growth, the connection would have slowly harmed both hearts instead of healing them. So the distance was not rejection, it was preservation. You have met many people across your life. Some were lessons, some were seasonal, some were distractions, and some left something behind that still echoes quietly inside you, music. Most of what you experienced with others in the past faded on its own with time. Life moved forward, emotions softened, and those connections slowly dissolved into memory. But this one did not follow that pattern. This person stayed. No matter how much time passed, no matter how hard you tried to redirect your thoughts or rebuild your focus, something about them remained present within you, music. God is saying the reason this has not fully disappeared is because your souls recognize each other on a level that logic cannot explain. This is not obsession, it is not emotional weakness, it is not dependency, it is recognition at a deeper layer of awareness. Some connections are not stored only in memory. They are not just mental experiences that fade when new ones replace them. They feel as if they are written into something deeper inside you. That is why time has not fully erased it. Silence has not erased it. New people, new experiences, and new attempts to move on have not fully erased it either, music. God is saying when something is truly meant to unfold in a divine way, it does not always disappear when you think it should. Instead, it stays alive quietly in the background, even when you believe it is finished. And while you have been questioning everything, replaying memories, and trying to make sense of it all, something else has also been happening beyond your awareness. Both of you have been changing. You have been growing in ways you did not fully notice at the time. You have been learning boundaries, self-respect, and emotional strength. You have been facing parts of yourself that were easy to avoid before. You have been developing a clearer understanding of what you will and will not accept in love, music. And on the other side, God is saying they have not been untouched by this either. Even if they appear calm, distant, or focused on other things, something within them has also been shifting. Outward behavior does not always reflect inner reality. Internally, there is still awareness of what was shared and what was lost. There are moments of reflection when everything around them becomes quiet, music. Even if pride or silence hides it, the emotional imprint of this connection has not completely disappeared for them either. Thoughts still surface. Feelings still echo in unexpected moments. Not always spoken, not always acknowledged, but not gone. You have tried to move forward honestly. You told yourself it was time. You distracted your mind. You opened yourself to new experiences. You tried to accept an ending that never felt fully complete, music. But every time you reached a point of release, something subtle pulled your attention back again. A memory, a dream, a sudden emotion that seemed to arrive without permission. It can feel like something beyond you keeps reminding you of what you tried to forget. God is saying the reason this feels unresolved is because, in a deeper sense, the process is not finished. This does not mean you are meant to pause your life or wait in uncertainty. It does not mean you should chase what is unclear or lose yourself in hope. It means the connection is still within a process of unfolding that you cannot fully see from where you are standing right now, music. Your responsibility is not control. Your responsibility is becoming whole within yourself. People often confuse delay with denial. They assume that if something has not happened yet, it never will. But delay has a different meaning. Delay often happens when timing, healing, or emotional readiness is not aligned yet. It is a space where growth is still taking place beneath the surface, music. If something is truly not meant for you, the heart eventually settles. The attachment becomes lighter without force. The emotional charge slowly disappears, even if memories remain. There is a natural release, but what you are experiencing is different. This does not feel like full release. It feels like something still active in the background of your emotions, something that has not fully closed. God is saying this is not a closed chapter, it is a paused one. A space where two people are being shaped separately so that they do not repeat the same patterns that once created pain between them. And here is the difficult truth within all of this. They pulled away. They stepped back, and it hurt. It may have felt like rejection or abandonment. But God is saying their distance was not always driven by lack of care. In many cases, it comes from internal unpreparedness. Some people feel deeply but struggle with emotional responsibility. They are not always ready for consistency, vulnerability, or the stability that real love requires, music. Love is not only feeling, it is also maturity, it is presence. It is the ability to stay emotionally grounded when things become real and uncomfortable. At that time, something within them was not ready for that level of emotional depth. So instead of facing what they could not yet hold, they stepped back. Not because the connection was meaningless, but because they were not yet capable of carrying it in a stable way. And nothing in this process has been wasted. Not the confusion, not the distance, not the emotional weight, not the moments you questioned yourself. All of it has been shaping you in ways you may only understand later. You have been learning how to remain soft without losing strength, how to care without abandoning yourself, how to love without confusion becoming your identity, music, and they are being shaped too, in their own way. Distance often reveals what closeness hides. It brings reflection. It exposes emotional gaps. It forces people to face what they avoided before. This connection was never designed to trap you in pain. It was meant to awaken something within you that could not be awakened any other way. It was never meant to push you into suffering. It was meant to push you into growth. You are not being asked to stay stuck in pain. You are being guided to rise above it, to keep living your life fully, to keep building yourself, and to heal in a way that brings real emotional stability back into your heart, music. If this connection ever returns, it will not come back as it was before. It will not be the same emotional confusion, the same inconsistency, the same unanswered questions. It will return in a different form, one shaped by clarity instead of chaos, understanding instead of guessing music. And if it returns, it will not ask you to reduce yourself. It will not require you to ignore your boundaries or silence your intuition just to keep it alive. It will meet you at the level you have grown into, not the level you once tolerated. That is why this separation carries meaning. God is not focused on temporary comfort. The focus is long-term alignment. What is truly meant for your life will not be lost just because of time or distance. What belongs to you cannot be removed by fear, silence, or misunderstanding. Music. And if this connection is meant to reunite, it will only happen when both sides are emotionally prepared to meet in a healthier state. And if it transforms into something else entirely, you will eventually understand why the journey had to unfold this way. For now, the instruction is simple. Release control. Stop trying to force clarity from something that is still developing. Focus on your own emotional foundation. Focus on your peace. Focus on becoming secure within yourself instead of waiting for someone else to define your stability. Music. Let what is beyond your control remain in God's hands. What is guided by a higher process does not need pressure to survive. What is truly yours will not require you to lose yourself in order to keep it. Some people feel deeply, but when real emotional responsibility appears, they become overwhelmed. It is easier to imagine love than to live it in its full reality. When love becomes something that requires consistency, honesty, and emotional maturity, it stops being abstract. It becomes demanding. Music. And for some, that shift feels uncomfortable. God is saying they were not confused about you. They were overwhelmed by what the connection reflected back to them. Your presence may have activated emotions, insecurities, and unresolved parts of themselves they were not ready to face. And instead of staying present with that discomfort, they stepped back. Music. Not because your love was wrong, not because your presence was too much, but because meeting you fully required emotional readiness they had not yet developed. Their distance says more about their capacity than your value. You cannot expect someone who is still learning how to stay afloat to immediately dive into deep emotional waters. The depth is not the problem. The readiness is. Music. And God is not asking you to wait in pain or put your life on pause. You are not being asked to shrink yourself so someone else feels comfortable returning. You are not being asked to chase clarity or beg for certainty. This season is about you. It is about strengthening your emotional foundation so deeply that you no longer question your worth when someone hesitates. It is about building a life that does not depend on another person's timing to feel complete. Music. Do not delay your growth waiting for someone to catch up. Do not put your future on hold hoping for an answer that is not ready to arrive. Your path is still unfolding whether they are present or not. Because when something is truly aligned with your life, it does not require exhaustion to maintain it. It flows with you, not against you. There is a difference between effort and desperation. Destiny does not ask for desperation. It asks for alignment. Music. And sometimes there are quiet signs that a connection still exists within your story. Not in chaos or anxiety, but in subtle awareness. You may think of each other at similar times. You may feel emotional shifts that seem connected. You may experience memories or dreams that surface during moments of personal growth. Music. But the clearest sign is not intensity. It is peace. When you think about them, do you feel grounded or destabilized? Do you feel calm acceptance or emotional turbulence? Peace is often the signal of alignment. Anxiety is often the echo of fear. If there is ever a return, it will not mirror the past. It will not feel confusing or emotionally unsafe. It will not recreate old cycles of uncertainty. Real alignment does not feel like walking on emotional tension. It feels steady. Music. If someone truly returns in growth, Their energy will be different. There will be clarity in communication, responsibility in action, humility in understanding, and consistency in effort. Love will feel grounded instead of unpredictable music. And if they return without growth, repeating old patterns, avoiding accountability, or offering the same instability, then that is not destiny, it is repetition, because God does not restore what has not transformed. The fear that quietly sits inside you is the uncertainty of, what if they never come back? But if someone is truly part of your life path in a meaningful way, their absence is not permanent in essence. What is aligned always finds its way, whether through timing, transformation, or closure that leads you somewhere better, music. And if they do not rise into the version of themselves needed for this connection, your life will not remain empty. You will not be left without depth, without love, or without meaningful connection. Life does not remove depth from you, it redirects it towards something capable of holding it. You will not lose love. You will not lose emotional fulfillment. What falls away is only what cannot grow with you. And when that happens, it is not punishment. It is protection. It is life making space for something that can actually stand beside you instead of pulling you backward. Music. So stop measuring your worth by someone else's hesitation. Confusion in another person does not reduce your value. Delay in their clarity does not mean you are not enough. And withdrawal does not define your desirability. You are not smaller because someone could not fully meet you where you are. And you do not need to keep replaying moments, searching for hidden answers in conversations that are already complete. Some things are not meant to be decoded endlessly. They are meant to be released so you can keep moving forward.